So I've been here on YouTube for 6 months or so now, talking to a camera, and in that time I've had a ton of hate comments, a ton of comments from vegans and animal activists who just maybe don't know what they're talking about. And I wanted to make a little bit of a mini video series here on the channel talking about some of those subjects: artificial insemination, why we take the calves away from the cows, and stuff like that. I want to preface these videos by saying I have nothing against vegans, or I don't care if you drink milk or eat meat, but I think there needs to be a line drawn when you start to lie and use mistruth and misinformation to try and manipulate people into adhering to your agenda. So I hope this video series can help debunk a couple of those lies and you know, kind of set the record straight. So today we're going to be talking about artificial insemination and why we use it here on dairy farms. So what is artificial insemination, or AIing a cow? Basically what it is you have a straw of semen and you inject it in the cow's uterus so that you can manually get her pregnant without needing to have a bull in the barn. So a ton of vegans and animal activists will want you to believe that this is rape, but that's just not the case, because a cow doesn't have a bias as to who breeds her. For example, if I was to take a perfectly in-heat heifer and put her in a pen with a bull, they would breed 100% of the time if she was in heat. And if I took that bull out 21 days later when she came in heat again and put a different bull in there, there'd be no hesitation. She would get her business done with that bull, and she wouldn't care who the bull was. And I can do that over 100 times if she never got pregnant, and there would never be any hesitation to who was in there with her. They would just get their business done 100% of the time, and she doesn't care. The second thing that kind of proves that this isn't rape is I can go into the freestall barn here, and if a cow's just freely standing in there, I can go up to her and AI her. I can give her every chance to walk away while I'm doing the process, the entire process. And a lot of the time when they're in strong heat, they'll actually just stand there and allow me to do it. And I actually got it on video 2 times here in the last week. So you guys can watch that right now and, you know, judge it for yourself. Do you think it's rape or not? Because I give these ladies every chance to walk away from me artificially inseminating them, and they don't. I'm just putting the gun through her cervix here. There we go. Make sure it's in the right spot. Awesome. So she just stood there. You guys can see she's not locked up in any way. This cow is in very strong heat right now, and she doesn't care who breeds her or how it's done. She just wants to get bred right now. So there you guys go. Again, this cow can walk freely anywhere in the barn. She's not forced to stay there. She's not tied up. She's not locked up in any way at all. So you guys can see there, the first cow that I AI'd, she stood perfectly still. She just was in really good heat, so she didn't care. She stood there. I gave her every chance to walk away. And a lot of people might say, oh, she's in a barn, she knows she can't get away at the end, but a cow will not hesitate to just run away from you if you're doing something she doesn't like. So that's a pretty bad argument. And the second one there, she did move around a little bit, but eventually she stood perfectly still and allowed me to complete the process. So the next question is, why do we even artificially inseminate cows in the first place? And that's a really good question, and there's a ton of reasons why we do it. The first one being safety in the barn. It would be a heck of a lot easier for us just to let a bull walk around in these groups and do it all. He would catch all the heats and he would get all the cows pregnant, and we wouldn't have to look at it as much as we do now. But bulls can be a lot more aggressive than cows. There's tons and tons of stories of people getting injured in barns. You know, the bull puts his head down and rams in between the headlockers or a post or the beds or something. And there's even stories of people that have died, unfortunately, in barns that had bulls in there. It's just really not that safe. And we can take that bull out of the barn with artificial insemination and make the working environment in here a lot safer. The second reason is genetics. If we were to have a bull in here, we wouldn't be able to get the best bulls in the country on our farm and breed the cows on our herd, because these bulls would be incredibly expensive and there's just not that many genetically superior bulls. You know, you want the best of the best genetics, and with artificial insemination we can ship semen from these bulls across the entire country, and hundreds of farmers can use those genetics to make better cows, which means their whole farm is going to be more efficient, and you know, that's good for the environment and the farmer as a business owner. The third reason, the bull, if he's in the herd, he can spread diseases pretty quickly. You know, he's not the most sanitary guy, and with artificial insemination we can make sure that we're super sterile and that we're not going to spread diseases through these cows if there were any. And the final reason I'm going to mention today is we can actually sex that semen before we breed a cow with it, buy it from the AI company like this, and what that means is we can calve out, I believe, 90 to 95% daughters. So the reality is bulls just aren't that profitable for a dairy farm, so we don't want them, and instead of calving a bunch out and then not knowing what to do with them, we can only calve out daughters, and this is a really beneficial thing for a lot of dairy farms. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below.